All right. Hey y'all. Welcome to the stream. I've been trying to set up the first day of the Advent of Code challenge while my start screen is building. And I just copy pasted my build file from the Effet challenge project over here. And I trimmed it down a little bit. I still need the Sergey dependency, and I don't really remember where I put that one. So let's look at that one up. Because then we can get started writing some tests as well. And there we go. Let's just take the latest one. Okay, cool. So that should do it, I hope. As soon as this thing compiles, we're good to go, I believe. Alright, let's just try and run this test file real quick. It should be Jupyter indeed. And then we've got the Sergey. There we go. Clean up some imports. I feel like if we can get this thing going. If I am able to run this, it should we are good to go. Hey, hi ICHBIN. How are you doing? Looks like we still have to wait for it to compile. Hey, there we go. Cool. Alright, so I think we're good to go now. So for those of you that don't know, Advent of Code is just a series of daily challenges. It usually exists out of two exercises that you can solve for fun and learning. I tried last year in Elm just to learn more about Elm, the functional programming language. And this year I thought I'd do it in Kotlin because I feel like I've got lots to learn about it still. Right, so let's check it out. The first day, so there's always like this fun little flavor text, and this one, it's about the tyranny of the rocket equation. So Santa has become stranded at the edge of the solar system while delivering presents to other planets. To accurately calculate his position in space, safely align his warp drive, and return to Earth in time to save Christmas, he needs you to bring him measurements from 50 stars. Collect stars by solving puzzles. 2 puzzles will be made available on each day in the Advent calendar, and the second puzzle is unlocked when you complete the first. Each puzzle grants 1 star. Good luck. So here's the flavor text. The elves quickly load you into a spacecraft and prepare to launch. At the first go/no-go poll, every elf is go until the fuel counter-upper. They haven't determined the amount of fuel required yet. Fuel required to launch a given module is based on its mass. Specifically, to find the fuel required for a module, take its mass, divide by 3, round down, and subtract 2. For example, for a mass of 12, divide by 3 and round down to get 4, then subtract 2 to get 2. So a mass, or a module with mass 12, the fuel necessary is 2. That's what I'm reading here. Same for 14, then blah blah blah. And then the fuel counter upper needs to know the total fuel requirement. To find it, individually calculate the fuel needed for the mass of each module, then add together all of the fuel values. Alright, cool. Sounds simple enough. So I guess we'll play the part of the fuel counter upper. Fuel counter upper can calculate the fuel needed for all given modules. Cool, so I think like we've got a bunch of modules, so maybe should we count fuel or calculate fuel maybe? Or actually, let's do it like this. I expect a fuel value to come out of this, which should be an integer, I guess. Result necessary or fuel needed. And then maybe as a first input, we can just add or push in for a mass of 12. So 12 should be assert that fuel needed is equal to 2, I think it was. I will never forget. Yep. Let's close this one. Alright, now this should become a function somewhere. Yeah, sure, why not? Module mass. There we go. I think we can just already start by returning a failing value. Let's move this thing out of the file. Alright, now we can apply the, what's it called? The formula, which was divide by 3, round down to get 4. So that's this thing, and then we'll floor this one. I don't know. Math of floor. Okay, so this is basically it. Only module mass and then 3. And then do -2. Alright, it seems to be running already. Now we'll need to make sure that you can do that for all given modules. So maybe what I want to do is first extract this so that this one is a fuel counter upper for one single module. And then for multiple modules, I think the easiest way to do this is by just passing 12 twice, and then let's put this in a list or something, and then now it should be 4 multiple module fuel counter upper. Maybe it should just be yeah, this is fine. So it should be this thing. Now it's going to take a list of ints and still return an integer. So what I'll do is modules or something. Let's call it modules instead. And then map or something. And then just apply, I think, that single module fuel counter upper with it. And what I should do is flat map it or reduce it, in fact. And we'll have to start with 0. Not sure how you do that in Kotlin yet. Reduce operation with 2 integers. Here we go. This is the one I want. So accumulator initially is 0. And it should add the result of plus. Oh, hang on. This is not what I wanted to do. There we go. So we expect 4 here. Oh, we expect 4 here. Let's run all of the tests. Oh, thank you. There is a sum by. Cheers for that. Let me also turn down the music a little bit. There we go. That should be better, hopefully. So there was a list.sum by thing. Sum by returns a sum of all values produced by a selector function applied to each element. So I guess what we can do is do this. Hey, thank you for that. I think what you can also do now is just go like this. We could also do that here, I guess. IntelliJ probably could have helped me with that as well. Okie dokie. So that's already going to pass me the result of that, I hope. Next, I guess, is parsing a file. Not really sure how you do that in Kotlin. Can read file line by line, something like that. What is my assertion going to look like? So let's say I have some file here. Let's call it input.txt. We'll add 12 twice in there. So this is Java stuff, but I know that Kotlin has like cool file stuff as well. Read file Kotlin. This seems like an older version. Line by line. This is sort of what I want to do, right? Let's just use lines thing. Given a block call by giving it a sequence of all of the lines in a file as a list of lines. And then we've got a list of string. But what's the difference? There's no difference, is it? Ah, once processing is complete. So I assume eventually there's going to be a bunch of, I mean the file is going to become pretty big, I think. So I kind of want to stream it or something. Buffer the reader, maybe I'll just do that. Where is that thing? Here we go. Here we go. Let's just do this. Oh yikes. Okie dokie. And then I guess we'll do this. And this will return a list of strings. Let's just see what's in there. I'm also not sure I'm not sure that it'll contains exactly 12 and then again 12. Maybe we'll do 12 and 24 in that input text file. And then we've got an empty string. Let's see what that does. Maybe can you... I'm not sure if Kotlin is able to do this stuff. Let me know if it is. I guess we could do it with an input stream. So the issue is that I need to be able to access the file name from what's the thing called? Just go like a resource as stream or something like that, right? Ah, there we go. Okay, let's do this. still is null though. Now I wonder, because it's in here, maybe I'll need to go like this. I'm not sure anymore. This has been a long time for me reading files. Where'd you put the file? It's right next to my test method. So maybe it should be.
It only does it about once a week.
That seems very strange. Maybe we should also do this. Read file.
Choose to do so in exactly the same place. Whatever the reason, it must be very important, for a sloth on the ground is almost helpless. Any predator could attack it, and it doesn't have the speed to escape. Why it comes down in this way is a mystery.
If the name begins with a slash, then the absolute name of the resource is a portion of the name. Otherwise, the absolute name is of the following form. Modified package name. So that was like this then maybe? Nine. The package name of this object, so that's hello tests package, so that's be.swsb.coderetrieve. With slash substituted for dot. If you use file reader, it starts looking from the root of your project. So maybe it needs a oh, hang on. Let's move this into source test resources. And see if we can load it this way. Ah, there we go. Okay, so now there's a blank. I guess we can strip those. So let's do that as well. Read lines and then filter or not. What is coming out of this thing? It's a list of strings. Containing only elements, so I want this, and then string or like it is blank. Null or blank. Yay. Could be private. Let's make it private. Alright, so there we have it. Then we'll need to parse these things as integers, I guess. So let's make it like that. And now let's just try and compile it using its integer parse, or that's on string maybe. To int. Let's do it like this. Yeah. Let's try this. Yay. Cool. And then what we can do is apply our input. Let's actually make all of these internal as well. And then create a last test, I guess, that says calculate input or something. From input. And then we'll just do read file with actual input. And then we'll pass that into multiple modules fuel counter upper. And I have no idea what the result is. Let's hope it's not 0. And then I'll need a new file called actual input, not txt. Yeah, sure. And then I'll need my my puzzle input. Bam. Alright, so it appears that this is my input, hopefully. Let's try that. Yay! I already have a 1 gold star. So then, during the second go/no-go poll, the elf in charge of the rocket equation double checker stops the launch sequence. Apparently you forgot to include additional fuel for the fuel you just added. Great. Fuel itself requires fuel just like a module. Take its mass, divide by 3, round down, subtract 2. However, the fuel also requires fuel, and that fuel requires fuel, and so on. So we're stuck in an infinite loop that way. Great. Let me just quickly turn on the light here. Be right back. There we go. Okie doke. Where were we? So right at the infinite thing. So any mass that would require negative fuel should instead be treated as if it requires 0 fuel. The remaining mass, if any, is instead handled by wishing really hard, which has no mass and is outside of the scope of this calculation. So for each module mass, calculate its fuel, add it to the total, then treat the fuel amount you just calculated as the input mass and repeat the process continuing until a fuel requirement is 0 or negative. For example, a module of mass 14 requires 2 fuel. This fuel requires no further fuel because 2 divided by 3 and rounded down is 0, which would call for a negative fuel. So the total fuel required is still just 2. At first, a module of mass 1969 requires 654 fuel, then this fuel requires 216 more fuel. 216 then requires 70, which requires 21, then 5, and then no further fuel. So the total fuel required for a module of mass 1969 is this entire calculation. And then, if I'm correct, then this fuel requires 216. No, so this is the mass that requires 54 fuel, and then the result is a more fuel calculation. The fuel required by a module of mass blah blah. What is the sum of the fuel requirements for all of the modules on your spacecraft when also taking into account the mass of the added fuel? Calculate the fuel requirements for each module separately, then add them all up at the end. Okay, so first what we'll need to do then is keep all of the fuel per module, I guess. And then what we'll do is so we'll have to do some recursion of somehow or the other. Maybe we'll rename this thing into day 1 test or something, I don't know. And then we'll put this in day 1, and we'll have some functions here. Oh yeah, and then now this thing is no longer a class. Okay, let's make this thing private then, indeed. And then hopefully what I can do is put these on the companion object of this day 1 class as well. And then I'll change this test thing into using day 1 dot this stuff. doing that. Well, I know. I'm wondering why IntelliJ can't just import it. That's very strange. Very interesting indeed. Maybe I wonder why that is. Maybe there's some weird stuff going on here. Where was that thing again, like a group? Let's see what's the difference. Here I've got my thing is split up into different files, but there's just one main file, the build.gradle.kts file, and then there's the settings Gradle thing that just says here's the root project or whatever. But there's nothing else really. You've got main Kotlin, and then there's just this thing. We've got a competition test, which is in this package right here, and then the imports look like. See, and then competition isn't even listed as an import. Because it's in the same package. So I wonder, this thing is in the same package. Is it because they're internal? Nah. Nah. This is so weird. Maybe if I do the other way around, and I'll go here and then say let's create a new test. Create test in the same source root. I don't think that's what I wanted. Yeah, so no, I don't want to do that. Thought I already had this one. 542. Maybe that's why. So somehow the project is not being registered properly. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just have to deal with that at a later time or something. What I could do for now is just extract it and get rid of this thing, and then just put it in the same file. And this was a private function. Let's run it again, boys. Okay. So this was our initial input, initial solution. So now we'll need another one. So that means I'll need to try and calculate fuel for fuel modules. Or something like that, I don't really know how to call it. So I guess what I need is fuel per module. Right, that's what they suggested, I think. Calculate the fuel requirements for each module separately. Right. So I think what I need to do here is this thing should return a map instead. Oh, but do I want to refactor this? So that's not day 11. Make this day 1, 2, and then we can just day 1. Yeah, we don't need this anymore because that'll be just the same. I don't think we need this either, or well, let's just keep it together, I guess. And then this should no longer just return an integer anymore, but it should return something that says this is the module and let's think long and hard about this. So it's it needs to be returning a list of fuel requirements or something. And then this is basically a module, right? Module. And then we can add some type aliases for that. Module equals integer and then E. Thank you for following info or h3 info. There we go. And now SumBy doesn't work any longer. Now I guess what we'll do is just map. Because this will produce the fuel requirement for one module. So then our day one calculate can calculate fuel per fuel module per module actually. So it looks like this a little bit. Fuel per module. So this one I don't want to change. And then I want fuel per module. This one indeed. This is no longer an integer and it should contain exactly 2 and 2 again. No tests were found. Yeah, bastard. Alright, so did it run all of the tests now or not? Because it's this one, right? Can calculate fuel per module. There we go. Well, at least we've got that. And then instead of these inputs, let's use the ones that are here. And then they both need, forget 654. So this should still be the same, but then once we have this, oh, god dang it. So if you get rid of the internal, IntelliJ is able to pick them up. There we go. So we've got this, that's fine. And now I guess what we'll have is new additional modules. So what I want to do is calculate the fuel needed for these again. So once you've passed over all of this, so all of this complete list, you only have fuel modules left. And then the next thing you need to do basically is this again, but then with 654 again. And then this output again, just like in the example here, is going to be 216, which will require another bunch of modules then of 70. So we'll need to do this looping thing for as long as what? I guess for as long as you can divide this stuff. So it should be what is our stop? Like, when do we want to stop doing this? You did it in JavaScript, Simple Cookie. Did it also take you as long as it's taking me? I hope not. There's a stop condition in the exercise. Ooh. If it is 0, there you go. So the moment our single module fuel counter upper returns 0, we can stop. So now we need to do recursion. Took you about an hour. Let's see. I am now at 1 hour. We ran into some annoying things where I couldn't extract functions into classes. A while loop would have been easier. Yeah. The thing I don't yet get is why it's important to calculate per fuel. I mean per module. I guess because then you keep on going if you keep on adding. So it should be like this. Then once again you do it, maybe it'll help if I write it out. For fuel, I keep misspelling that, it's really annoying. So here they do it with a single module though. Maybe that'll be an easier case. So this is the first fuel amount needed. Well, this is actually. Then we've got 216. Then we've got 70. Then we've got 21 and then 5. and it should stop on the 5. So I wonder what we expect here then. We'll get another answer if you don't do it per module. Calculated for the sum rather than per module, and I was wondering why I got it wrong. Yeah. You started on the solution or just put setting up the... So I solved the first input, and this is the result. And I'm now at part 2. So we're trying to do the recursion. Yeah, indeed, yeah, just reduce. But then, Nightbot is also a big fat liar. Because I'm not working on the effort challenge. Oh, it's hard to update that stuff at the same time. Module mass. This is no longer. This should be a module. And this should be a fuel requirement. So what will happen next? So these are all module masses. Actually, it's module mass, not just module. Module mass. There we go. So this is supposed to be what it looks like, fuel per module. And then I expect the previous output every single time. And then I guess here I expect 0, a fuel per module of 0, 0.
I know. You stared, Nikki, but I was too far away. You really couldn't tell. Ready?
I'm still wondering. Oh yeah, because in the first exercise it was the sum of this, basically. That was the required input, or the solution input. Fuel needed. And now, what do they ask for, in fact? Sum of all of the fuel requirements for all of the modules. When also taking into account the mass of the added fuel. Sum of fuel. Yeah, it's basically the same exercise though. But then I need some way to calculate all of this basically, right? So we'll get a list of lists. I think. Yeah. So in turn that will look like, yeah, just until it's 0, and then 0 shouldn't be calculated anymore. So it might be if I do it like this. Hang on, Let's make this into 21, and then here I expect 5, and then here I expect 0. 0 again, 0 again, 0 again, 0 again, and then lastly I expect this thing to be list of 0, 0, huh? So maybe let's write that in asserts, in fact. That'll be a little bit easier, hopefully. Oh, actually. And then the last one. And then the last one should be 0, 0. So this is how I expect this thing to function, right? Do you have a method to calculate the fuel? Start with that. Yeah, I do. When you get the fuel 654, you'll need to calculate the fuel for 6542. Yeah. While new fuel is bigger than 0. Okay. So I think it should be like this. And then I can add these things at the very end or something like that. But then I won't be able to reduce this because this list will keep on being added to. So in fact it's going to be like this. And then blah and blah. Oy, oy. This is incorrect. Got 21, then 5, and then 0. Yeah, and then we've got -1. So here we'll go. Can I just use IntelliJ and expand this or something? Yeah, there we go. If module mass just return 0. Or maybe less than 0 even. And I also need to do the same here. So if this result is no, then I should just, if it is 0, then return 0. Otherwise, this thing should be an absolute thing around it or something. This we can just rewrite like that, hopefully. Yeah, you can't do this construct in a ternary. There's no such thing. right. That's a better idea indeed, yeah. So let's combine the two or something. But I do want like one thing to like deal with a module mass of 0, right? Divide and conquer. Yeah, but yeah. I think it's still small and testable though. So it used to be this way. And then we'll add another one where we'll call this one single module fuel counter upper. Now there's naming. I don't know what to call this thing. Maybe this is going to be the formula or something. See, now it just looks the same. Yeah. If it's okay, I'm not there yet, am I? I'm not looping at all yet. I just want this function to return a 0 because it's weird if, or even when it's less than 0, that also makes no sense. It should like explode or something. I made a mistake there. Because the plan was to stop at 0 or something. I was thinking maybe what I can do. Yeah, I mean to just stop looping. But the problem is that you have to do this per. Because if I do it like this, then I always can count per module. If I split it up like that. So per module that was given to me, I need to do this recursive loop. Okay. Okay, hang on. Because now, why is it still important that I do this then? Because this is multiple modules. Okay. So what I want to do, where's this field per module thing? So this is not going to be all that helpful, I guess. Or is it? I need to make this thing recursive. That's the trick, I think. Yeah. because this single module fuel, so we'll calculate when, what's it called? This thing needs recursion, right? So my tests are going to change, because this one still needs to calculate per blah 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 per module. So I'll need to do something like that. So if I do 196, I've got that result somewhere. It's 966. That should be the end result. So it should be this, and then I guess 5 plus 21. So that should be 26 then. So this is it. Ah, nee. It should just be 5, in fact. Right. And now it doesn't do that at all, right? So if I run it, start with a while loop, and then rewrite it in recursion. Six, 5, 4. Did I miss something? Yeah, okay, so it needs 654 more fuel. Then this fuel requires 260 more fuel to make up for this thing. So the fuel required for a module of this is 966, and now I only get the first one. Yeah, that makes sense, huh? Okay, cool. So we'll do this one. And then, okay, let's use the advice. So let's start off with while module mass. Or why shouldn't I do recursion now? So if module mass is 0, then just return 0. This is why I wanted to put it in here. Okay, hang on. Wow. Total mass or something. And I guess it should be a var because it's going to change. So then while this is bigger than 0, do this. Yeah, that's not what I want. can't think straight. So I want to do this. It's going to steadily decrease all of the time, right? Yeah, so I want this thing assigned once,
Well,
I guess.
came upon a spot that was simply the most beautiful spot I'd ever seen in my life.
And then while
I said
it's
at that time, if I ever
bigger
had the
than
power,
0,
would build
I
a
want to
house. I always
reassign
wanted a house
this.
in the mountains when I was a kid. I
And
wanted
then
a house in the
also
mountains, and I said if I ever get the chance
add
to
it
build a
to
house in there. And then it came
this
and I
thing.
did, and I built it on a spot that to me was, as I said, the most beautiful spot I'd ever seen.
And then return total mass repeater. Is that correct? So we'll just have the module mass as is, right? I hate that I have to switch all this time between the top line and the last. So now this thing is going to be called one by one on every list item. And then I actually should have used that one on assert that. Let's maybe make a new task for that instead. Call it single module fuel counter upper of day 1.2 or something like that. And then do single module. Oh, this should be equal to 966. Guess what?
And it was away from things.
Yeah, maybe I don't need to do this. I don't think I need to do that. Let's make it 0. And then, because if I do this, then it wouldn't have added the last thing yet. So what I'll need to do here is this, huh? I can't believe how long it's been since I last wrote a while loop. Oh, Jesus Christ. Might be, I guess, that this thing has a -1 and that's why it does this. You're calling calling formula on mass fuel, which already has the formula done. I am calling formula. Mass for fuel. You are calling formula on mass for fuel. So this thing here. 56. Here and then 60. Yeah, but then, so this is like that first loop, but I need to do it just once. I guess I also only need to do it. Oh yeah. This is like it should only be an internal thing. Or not. No, because I need it to be defined outside of the while loop. Needs to be done before the while. Yeah, yeah, indeed. The formula needs to be done before the while. Else the while condition will be wrong. I think it's just it does this one time too many. 60 is not okay. Yeah. So this thing still gets executed. Oh, I can't think in while loops anymore. Can you believe it? I never thought this would be a thing. So let's just go. Oh, maybe we can just debug, and then let's debug this. All right, let's count with me. So we calculate the mass, which is going to be 654. So that's the total mass for fuel. It is bigger than 0, so we'll calculate it. So 654 plus mass for fuel. Now that's 01308. Ah, maybe that's already incorrect. Because before it was 654, huh? Yeah. I think the first thing I need to do is calculate the formula. I mean, calculate the mass for fuel. So here I do the first iteration basically, and then I should keep on doing this. And keep on adding it. No? Let's run it. Doesn't matter. It will keep on doing this until... Can I switch this thing around like in a do and then a while or something? Yo. Yeah, that's what I thought too, but if I do this, then it's going to be too much. Because I think I only want to calculate the fuel, no? Ah, nee, I want the original module plus the fuel. Yeah, okay. But then... what do I have here? Ah, yeah, so it's not just... It's not just fuel I'm counting, is there? Or is it? Oh my god, this is so confusing. It adds this and it's way too high, this number. Let's get your variables and initial values set first. The initial mass is always bigger than 0. The mass and the fuel sum. Yeah, mass, fuel sum. Actually, it's total fuel for mass or something. Or let's just call it just like you say, fuel sum. This is the mass. Initially, it's just mass. And then the fuel sum is what? I guess it's 0 at the beginning. That's the thing. And then what happens? We calculate master fuel again, and then add it. And then you have to do this until it's 0 or less than 0. Still 1 off. Expected 966 was 965. So I'm sending mass. Ah, you mean the 1969? It's not. Yeah, 1969 requires 654 fuel. 1969. Let's do. Yeah, I'm 654. See, and here's the -1. I knew it was this. It already does the addition, and you only want to do the addition you only want to do the addition if mass or fuel is bigger than 0. And then stop the loop. So we could do that, I guess. Yeah, it should, that's the thing. So at 5, it will calculate this thing here, and formula result at this point will be -1, and then it'll do the addition anyway. What the hell? That's why I was doing return 0 here. Oh boy. I don't want to do that. Yeah, I mean, this is a weird looking code. This is why I added that here to the formula. Like if you want to calculate for a mass of 0 or a guess, or like if this thing returns something lower than 0, just return 0. I don't like this this loopy thing. I think I just want this to return 0 if the formula would return something other than negative. I mean -0. I think this issue came because you got a do while rather than while, but not sure. I didn't have this problem. I had a while do before. It might be because my calculation is not in the while loop itself. Yeah. Well, yeah, let's solve it for with recursion or something. Because I can't wrap my head around this do while stuff anymore. It's horrible. So how would that look like? Maybe what I want is like a function that says like a helper or something, loop. And it'll take an accumulator and fuel. And it should check if accumulator, no, if fuel is less than or equal to 0, then we'll just return the accumulator. Otherwise, yeah, we need to. This is also fuel, actually. Otherwise, we'll do formula for fuel. Red Gurn. There we go again with the too large thing. Let's do formula of module mass once. There we go. Hey, you can replace class name companion object with object name. It removes one indentation and simplifies the code. Ah, yeah. That's neat. Thank you. Yay. All right. Okay, and now I guess the only thing I need to do is sum this and then call it sum of all fuels per module, which takes in fuel per module, which is a list of fuel requirements. That'll return the main fuel requirement, and then we'll do list, what was it, sum by something, fuel per module sum by or just sum. Oh man. I don't need those imports. Yeah, it's this one. Is this thing working now? Yeah, and then the last solve, I guess. Sum all fuel, I guess. Oh, hang on. Because yeah, I want a list of module masses, I guess, because not just this sum thing, right? So let's add module mass here, and then what I'll do is fuel per module. This is no longer fuel per module, this is just all of modules, and then I'll do sum by fuel per module. Nee, that's also not what I wanted to do. I want to do fuel per module with all the modules and then call sum on that. Yeah, that's what I want to do. So for this thing, it would be is equal to 966. So that's 1,000. No wait, 971. Huh? 966 plus 5. Let's see if this thing works. So an object is a singleton, by the way. So. Alright, this seems to work. And then we'll do solve exercise 2 or something. And then I'll want to day 11 read file actual input again, I think. Is it the same? It looked like it was the same, yeah. So a companion is a helper object. So you can have static functions on your class. Let's see if this input works. A. Return to your advent calendar. Huh? Thank you for your help, simple cookie. Now I was wondering why I couldn't extract this into an actual file. Because the moment I do, it stops compiling. Will not be accessible from Kotlin test. I don't know, I don't understand why it wouldn't be accessible. It's something, it has something to do with Gradle, right? Because it would be in the same package and still it wouldn't work. Yeah, please, let's share. If you would be able to share your JavaScript implementation. So this is the day 1 where calculating multiple modules. You just sum it. There we go. Oh, also GitHub noise. Let's look at this, huh? Let's look at simple cookie solution. Ah, this is your input. Yeah, so you also do. Ah, yeah, then you reduce. Do you also call your recursion once? Yeah. So here it's this thing to kickstart it, and then you sum it. Ah, nee, this is just a. Ah, okay. So you call your recursion function in the way you sum it. That's it. This is very concise, I like it. Yeah, it's nice. So the reduce thing or the sum thing I could do with sum by as well. You can rewrite how would that work. You also have that a recursion loop, right? Yeah, here it is. And then you apply it twice, I guess. So there's some optimization, I guess, to be done here. Do I have that same problem? I only do it once. Meh. Meh. Ah. I didn't know Kotlin had that as well. That's a great tip. What is the tail recursion modifier though? Is it just I thought you meant... Ah, yeah. It is a modifier like private. Yeah. And is it in fact also tail recursive or not? Because... Okay, then. Cool. Thank you for that tip. Ah, 0. Ah, yeah. Okay, but we already knew that. What's it saying about this thing? Could be private. Oh yeah, I don't test it separately anymore. I tested it before. Alright, cool. Thanks for hanging out, for these awesome tips. I'm glad I streamed this because otherwise I would have never found out about this thing. Is there something else I can do now? Maybe commit this thing. Where are we at? I think we are in advent of code. Ah yeah, maybe I don't want to call it code create Kotlin anymore. Let's just do it like this first. Solved day 1. Okay. And then I think I don't want this to be called like this. And I guess I am also going to have to pull this thing out somehow. The read file. Savage Coder finally got me online. Yeah, I'm doing some Advent of Code things. We just solved it. Thanks for the helpful chat. And then we looked at a solution made by one of our people in chat as well, which is way more concise if you look at this. This is my solution. Well, actually, this is my solution. It's okay, I guess. And was it you that wanted to see how I was doing CQRS and then, or that moving from anemic domain to CQRS? Let's commit this as well. I'm going to push this code first though. I wonder where I would be pushing that to actually. Let's see. Okay. Advent of Code 2019. Yeah. So maybe I want to move everything from in here into like the main directory or something. And then have like a general setup for all of the days that are left. How do I do that? So everything from in here, move here. Oh, and then there's nothing left anymore in code retreat Kotlin. There is some stuff left. Maybe move those files too then. Same for the Gradle file, or the Gradle stuff. Yeah. Let's get rid of that too. I don't think we need rover. I'm not sure what's in settings on Gradle. Let's change that in fact. This should be day 1 or something. Oh no, actually that's also incorrect. Because I think the entire project should be in Advent of Code and not on day 1. So let's move day 01. And then we'll just do files per day or something like that in a source folder. Because then it'll be easier to reuse stuff. So let's move everything from day 1 in here. Because now I've got, yeah, okay, cool. And then what?
I said empty your mind. Be formless.
Ooh, interesting template on GitHub.
Like water. Now you put water into a cup. It becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle.
Let's
you
check
put
that
in a teapot,
out.
It becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. be water, my friend.
Main and then Kotlin and then yeah, this is what I was planning to do as well. And he's got the generic day Kotlin file. Oh, that's cool. Wait, no, that's not cool. Abstract classes.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless. Be water, my friend.
Ah, yeah, okay, and then you've got per day, you've got an input file. That's also neat. Okay, yeah, that's too much stuff. I just want to run some tests now. It's cool though.
I said, empty your mind.
Yeah,
Be formless, shapeless.
yeah, so
Water, my friend.
it was easier and faster to just make an array manually of it than reading a file. Could make it a JSON file import. Takes 5 seconds to make it a comma separate value, and yeah, indeed. Okay, so this is gonna wrong. We're just moving some files around, right? And I have a source file. So what I can do now, I guess, is this thing should no longer be day 1, it should be AOC 2019. And then I could just load this thing in, right? And then do some renaming in IntelliJ. Where you at, IntelliJ? There we go. Build.gradle. New window. And then while this thing is loading, the thing I could do is get rid of all of these. And then just make a new class or something. Day 1. And then make a test for this. How come it didn't find us yet? Oh. There's still something that's not quite right, because normally, oh yeah. See, somehow it thinks that this is a separate project or something of the other. And you know what? Let's maybe also move this into like a package called day 1. And then this can become AOC 2019 day 1. And then somehow I don't have an SDK for this. Maybe, isn't it source test something? I think it is now. Source test. It looks the same to me. I wonder what's different. I really do. Anyone who has an idea, please let me know. Because this is just a module. I mean, there's nothing all that different about it, right? This is just empty even. And then you've got a settings file that just includes all of the packages. So I mean, I'm clueless. This doesn't matter at all. Like at all. I wonder what happens if I do this. Just make it compile. Why does it want this Mockito JUnit? Oh, don't need it. Maybe that's the whole problem. My Gradle project wasn't working. It's this one. No? Okay, now it's working, I guess, because it managed to switch properly. Oh yeah. So that means I can move all of this stuff into day 1. Hopefully. Get rid of this. Yeah, finally. So in the end it just happened to be a wrong Gradle file. Hey, if it's only that. I also don't like it that it's trying to run day 1 test with Gradle though. I just want the Jupyter runner to do this. I think that's just a problem of IntelliJ not using it. Okay, so this can go. Oh no, now I forgot to add the git ignore file, I think. Yeah, that's not gonna be enough. I'll need build. I'll need out. I don't know. I'll need dot Gradle. Is there something else? All of the inversion files. Dot idea, of course. Let's refresh this already. Oh wait, so this git ignore is in the incorrect directory. Alrighty. So Gradle I want added. This as well. There we go. Changed directory structure, I guess. Hey Anagon, I'm like 12 hours later than you. Oh, and this needs to be added, of course. All of this needs to be added, in fact. I don't need this either. Alrighty. Yay! Let's push it. And then verify that it's where I expect it to be. I think it should be somewhere here. Yes. Oh, I also completely got rid of the README though. That's not something I wanted to do, but that's a fine. It's a fine. Maybe I can do one little last thing. Do the effort challenge project. Where were my issues? Ah, here we go. Oh yeah, we were moving to commands and a competition controller. So there's a competition controller somewhere. It's this one. And the last thing we did was at Socrates Belgium. And it was to add a competitor. So maybe next thing we can do is remove a competitor and make it look like this. See where that leads us. Cool, cool. All right, so let's just follow the same thing we do every day, Pinky. Try and take over the world. No, really. What I usually do is I start by creating a cheers simple cookie. Thank you so much for all of the advice. I hope to see you next time. Also good luck with the rest of the challenges. I did, yes. Hey, and thanks you for following as well. I did manage to finish it thanks to friends in chat. Let me, if you want to see the solution, it looks like this. We have, or at least I did. I put it in two different things. One to just read files. This is the formula we got, and then you just sum everything. And then for the second part, I sort of changed around the meaning of those things. So what I did first was split it up into fields per module. And then in that single module fuel counter upper, I have a tail recursion function that just takes an initial fuel requirement and then adds it up until it's 0. And then I learned about this tailrec function modifier that makes sure that you don't blow your stack. Maybe there's other stuff. There you go. Yeah, it was only because someone in chat said that I could add this as a modifier, and I did, and I was very grateful for that tip. Let me check who it was. It was ICHBIN. Did you need it? No, not really. It, I mean, the input wasn't all that much, right? So, and then once you have that recursed loop for fields per module, you just sum all the things and then you're done. And these are the tests. Oh, hang on. Ah, yeah. I was going to Command Shift D on that, but that never worked. And these are all the tests that go with that. I wasn't very consistent with my uppercasing apparently. Anyway. I didn't finish watching your stream, I'm sorry. But I really like the cool snow stuff. That was nice. I'm also looking forward to see how other people did it on Tuesday when we share our solutions at work. And now let's get back into changing this method into using commands. Yeah, so let's call it remove competitor. Oh, this is already there. But do I already have a handler for it as well? I do. Ah, okay, so this is where we left off at what's it called? At Socrates Belgium. So I already had the command, I already had the handler, I already have the test. The only thing that should remain now is just replacing this by calling the command handler. I mean by executing the command. And that means that my remove competitor should no longer use this, and that it should only verify command executor. This thing that it executes a remove competitor command that contains the competition ID. So that's a competition ID of given competition ID. And what else? A competitor ID to remove, so that's snarf ID, yeah? At least in this case. And let's see about that test setup here. Right. In fact, it doesn't matter all that much, does it? I mean, we don't really care about... Do we? As long as it's this one, it should be fine. So whether or not I do this, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, let's just do any ID. Or maybe do I have like this random? No? Okay then. This should suffice. Ooh, actually. Dang it. I added that feature and I didn't remove it yet. Because Chris Hoffman suggested I use inline classes as wrapper classes instead of data classes. But they Jackson can't reflect on those, so something went wrong. Null pointer exception. You want my... Alright, this makes complete sense because I did not change the implementation yet. So the only thing I need to do is this basically. And then instead of add, let's do remove competitor. There we go. And then it's going to be the competitor to be removed. And then we just execute that stuff and then we'll be done with that. So let's run that test again. Oh yeah, and then also get rid of that compiler thing. It should work now though. Yo, see you, Boke. Off to do something. How do you... Let's exit presentation mode, because I think it's like in here somewhere where you add that setting. Or maybe it's in the JDK. Or Jerry, and let's see. Like, where do you pass along? Was it a facet? No. Maybe it was in Gradle? I don't remember. Let's check the log. So these were two things I did. It must have been something to in IntelliJ, because otherwise there would have been a commit for that. It should be in your test runtime, I know. Damn it, I really don't remember why you do that. Oh yeah, it's probably going to be in here somewhere. Yeah, I really don't remember too much. I'll ask Chris again. In the meanwhile, something wrong. Why is that? Expected 400, actual 202. Oh yeah, no competitor found for given ID. That is currently tested in the command handler. So we can just remove that test, in fact. And then let's rerun those tests. See, here we are running through IntelliJ. Hey, White Lightning 8117, what's up? We just finished the Advent of Code exercise of the day. I'm just continuing some work on my main LiveCoding project. So here we indeed replaced competition controller. Remove competitor with the command. If you're curious about the solution we built, I'm glad to show it. Just let me know. Spent an hour remembering how to use .rstrip correctly. What is rstrip? Because I also had some issues, specifically by doing this part. That was annoying here. I couldn't seem to get the correct file name there. But the trick was to put these files into the same package as my test was in. Then it all worked. It's tricky business. When you read a text file with new lines in Python, it adds, oh yeah, right. Oh, okay. So .rstrip, I actually encountered that at Socrates Belgium. Cool. So wait, do you do .rstrip on the file itself, or is it after you transformed it into an array already? Ah, yeah, okay, from an individual string. There was something else that we did, like you could pass, like I don't really remember, like, ah yeah, it was very, very strange. So if you just prefix your field declaration or your variable declaration with a star, then it just works. So pretend this is some Python code. So I don't know the syntax by heart, but it's something like this, like file read whatever, some file. And then you can pass some things in, like crlf equals, I don't know, like something like this. And if you do this and you print this out, you indeed get something like stuff and other n. But if you did this, it would remove the \n's. And we didn't figure out what it was that caused it, but just by doing this, it fixed it. So that's why I don't do Python anymore. No, I'm just kidding. Got other goals to achieve. Oh, I don't need that anymore. Cool. I mean, so we did the remove competitor. We made this thing into. Why is navigate next method not working anymore? What the hell? IntelliJ. Alright, so complete challenge is the next one. And then after that there will be remove challenge. And if I fix these, then we've removed all of the things or replaced all of the methods in our controller by executing commands. But I think I'm going to have to quit because it's already 6:20 and I haven't eaten dinner yet. I'm hungry. So hungry. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna call it quits for today. Did I push this? Yes, I did. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out. Well, I hope to see you next time. Don't know when that is. Not sure at all. Anyway, see you next time. Peace! Oh, also, let's find someone to host while we're at it. See you next time. Bye!